Well, hello, everybody. Let's just jump right into it. Breaking news today. The president of Argentina has said that he is going to release Declassified, just following the example, I guess, of his hero, Trump. He's supposed to be the MAGA version. I don't know. See, Make America. Yeah, A, it's still A. So it's MAGA. It's MAGA in Argentina. He's saying he's wanting to follow the lead and declassify documents that have been long hidden from the public. And this is a bombshell. So let's go directly to it. Fox News is reporting that secret documents on Nazis who fled Argentina after World War II are being declassified in Argentina. Argentina is set to declassify all government-held files relating to Nazi fugitives who fled and settled in Argentina after World War II. According to reports, the documents will likely include Nazi-linked bank accounts and archival records detailing the use of Nazi rat lines, which were monetary and logistic pathways Nazis used to escape justice and flee Argentina following the war. I can't ever say his name. Guillermo Alberto Francos, Argentina's interior minister, made the announcement Tuesday, the Buenos Aires Times reported, citing D News. And so it is estimated, this is shocking here. Some of you may have already known this, but most probably did not. It is estimated that up to 10,000 Nazis and other fascist war criminals escaped justice for the Holocaust atrocities by fleeing to Argentina and other Latin American countries. Notorious high-level Nazis, including Holocaust mastermind Adolf Eichmann, and the angel of death, Joseph Mengele, fled to South American countries, while rumors have swirled for years that former Nazi Party Adolf Hitler also ended up there. Now, it is being reported by Redacted that they are saying, and I'm going to play the video and we're going to react to the video, they are saying that this is going to allegedly prove, I think what they're saying, this is their words without a shadow of a doubt, that Adolf Hitler did survive. The entire unaliving of himself story was a narrative created not by Germany, but by the Allies and led by the United States. This is alleged. Okay? Only allegedly. Let's watch this video.
This story and who have studied the subject know that Adolf Hitler didn't kill himself in a bunker in Berlin as the Red Army closed in. I think that's, we all know that was a fabricated story, or if you watch the show, you probably understand that. Hitler actually fled Germany weeks before that using a group of underground tunnels that led to an airstrip. And that airstrip was flown. He was flown from Berlin out. It took submarines, or multiple submarines that were used, U-boats that were then sent to Argentina. In other words, Hitler lived for nearly 2 decades more in Argentina, along with vast numbers of the Third Reich. Well, now Argentinian President Javier Milei has just ordered the release of all remaining documents on all of those Nazis who fled Germany and moved to Argentina after World War II. Basically, it was almost like a second base of operations in Argentina. If you're not familiar with that, like basically the Third Reich operated out of Argentina and Germany. And many of them, including Adolf Hitler, lived in Argentina well after 1945.
Oh, okay. Did you hear what Clayton just said? Lived in Argentina until after, I think he said, the late 1950s. What in the world? Now, I've heard this for years. Steve Quayle's been saying this for years, and many others have been saying this for years, but this is the first time that documentation by the Argentine government has come out and said they're going to confirm this. Up to 10,000 Nazis, including the angel of death and the mastermind of the Holocaust, in addition to supposedly Adolf, were given safe, not only passage through a series of submarines, underground tunnels and submarines, getting them to to South America and Latin America, and they lived there comfortably until they died of natural causes? Y'all, this is truly the age of disclosure, not just UFO and alien disclosure. This is, y'all, it's all coming out. You got to ask yourself why.
Most people know that Hitler lived out his days in Bariloche, Argentina, until he died there in the mid-1960s. Yes, you can read the CIA documents about this. The FBI documents also about sightings of Hitler in this area. They knew about it. Of course they knew about it. It was largely facilitated, I think it's safe to say, by the United States and its allies.
Well, these are Clayton's words. These are not Larry Ragland's words for all the censors that are listening. But he's pretty confident. You know, I'll hold my thoughts on that.
Operation Paperclip, anybody? Quid pro quo?
Also, if you look into this, the skull that is held in Russia that was supposedly the remains of Adolf Hitler.
This is very interesting. They're saying there was a skull that was held in Russia that was supposed to be the skull of Hitler. So listen to what Miss Morris says.
With a bullet wound in it is female.
Yeah.
So when you look for proof that Hitler did in fact kill himself in the bunker, you are going to find a lot of dead ends.
Yeah. And all you need to read, you can read a great book on this called The Gray Wolf. It's a great book. There's many books written about this now. But yeah, the skull, the fragments, they ran the DNA tests on it. And the Soviets allowed them to do this testing. And even Stalin openly talked about that Hitler lived, that he was not there. So Stalin even knew about it. It's widely known in Argentina, by the way, well known, that Hitler sired 2 children while he lived in Argentina after the war. 2 girls. Wouldn't that be something to learn where Hitler's children are today? Like Hitler's descendants? That'd be interesting. Maybe we'll learn that in those documents as well. But we'll be watching this story. I'm fascinated. It seems like there's an open era of transparency right now. You might be wondering about the Epstein files. Our friend of the show, Kyle Seraphin, just a few minutes ago dropped a bombshell that he has confirmation from 2 agents who are actively working on the task force inside right now of the DOJ. They have 16 terabytes of data that they're going through right now on these Epstein files, hundreds of child victims. So there's like all sorts of hoops and hurdles they have to jump over on all of this, but they're
16 terabytes on the Epstein files. But this particular show is about Hitler surviving. Now, this is an actual German news agency called DW News. They do not mention Adolf in particular, but they do mention that these documents are going to reveal the many other Nazi war criminals. But listen to this. This is an actual news release. This was released just 4 days ago.
Classifying government documents on how Nazi war criminals escaped Europe and resettled in South America following World War II. It's thought as many as 5,000 Nazis evaded arrest in Argentina.
They're saying 5,000. Other articles are saying up to 10,000.
The most prominent was Adolf Eichmann, seen here during his trial in Israel in 1961. Eichmann was one of the architects of the Holocaust. Israeli agents captured him and took him to Jerusalem, where he was tried and sentenced to death. Well, I'm joined now by the man known as the last Nazi hunter. Dr. Efrem Zurov has played a key role in helping to bring Nazi and fascist war criminals to trial. Dr. Zurov, it's good to have you back on the program. What are you expecting to find in these files that are being made public in Argentina?
I assume that we'll be able to get many, many details regarding the identity of the Nazis who fled to Argentina and the identities of the people who made it possible for them, who helped them. I mean, we know who ran the networks, the 2 networks. One was alias Hudel, a Austrian priest or a bishop who ran a seminary in Rome. And the other network was run by a Ustasha, Croatian priest, Krunoslav Dragonovic. So, I mean, we know who was the head of the pyramid, but I'm sure there were a lot of other people local people also, who helped these projects. And the question is, how many of them are alive, if at all?
Well, so I wanted to ask you, I mean, are there Nazi war criminals that we think are still alive and living in Argentina who are about to be exposed?
I doubt it. To be honest, I doubt it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so he goes on to say that he believes this is considered to be one of the most prolific hunters of Nazi people who had escaped in the world. And let's see, I can't see his name there, but he believes that they're all dead. Well, how interesting that, just like what we just had, the 80,000 page document dump of the JFK files. Everybody there is no longer alive. Now everybody from the Nazis are no longer alive. The ones that helped them are no longer alive. How interesting that all of a sudden now we're releasing the documents. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm glad we're releasing the documents now versus never, but nobody's going to be held accountable for this. This is interesting information. This is going to be blockbuster entertainment. It's going to be clickbait. People's going to watch this. People's going, once again, the conspiracy theorists are going to be confirmed to be once again right, because many, many people have been saying this for decades. This is not new news. The breaking news of this is that this week, the Argentina president says we're going to release the files. We're going to follow Donald Trump's lead, releasing all the files on the JFK files, the MLK, RFK, going to release the UFO files, going to release the Wepstein files, and going to release all these supposed things. Now, that's allegedly what they're actually doing. I think we all know that we're probably not going to see everything. But now you've got Argentina's version of Trump. He wants to do MAGA as well. He's the one that has the famous chainsaw. He come in with a chainsaw to cut up all the stuff, and then he gave a chainsaw to Elon. Well, he's now saying he's going to release these documents because it's his country that it is believed that Adolf Hitler escaped, watch this, weeks prior. This is the story. Weeks prior to the supposed finding him in a bunker, unaliving himself and his girlfriend, that he supposedly left weeks earlier through underground tunnels in Germany, and then making it to submarine and going from submarine to submarine, staying underwater and underground all the way from Europe to Argentina, and supposedly lived his life out until he died, supposedly by natural causes, continued to live and flourish and have 2 children in Argentina, as well as anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 Nazi soldiers, people that was responsible for the atrocities of World War II, also were there. So what does that mean? Not to mention, let's talk about Operation Paperclip, where all the people with von Braun and all the rocket scientists that came over that we just sort of gave blanket immunity to, put them in charge of our so-called, putting in air quotes, NASA program. By the way, he lived right here in my state. Huntsville, Alabama, is basically where he was from. I mean, the name von Braun is all over Huntsville. He's very well known. It's very well known about the Nazis that were there. There's a documentary out there done by a local guy where he goes around and he talks to local business owners, and he says that when they came in, there was no evidence that they had renounced what they believed. They just were given power, and they just didn't talk about what they came out of. And they were the creators of NASA. So here we are. If you're coming in late, let's just play the first few seconds again of this redacted episode if you came in late, because I think it is worth hearing again. This is really amazing.
I think most people know this story and who have studied the subject know that Adolf Hitler didn't kill himself in a bunker in Berlin as the Red Army closed in. I think that's, we all know that was a fabricated story, or if you watch the show, you probably understand that. Hitler actually fled Germany weeks before that using a group of underground tunnels that led to an airstrip. And that airstrip was flown. He was flown from Berlin out. It took submarines, or multiple submarines that were used, U-boats that were then sent to Argentina. In other words, Hitler lived for nearly 2 decades more in Argentina, along with vast numbers of the Third Reich. Well, now Argentinian.
So what do you think? What do you think? Do you think this is just clickbait? Do you think this is real? What is your opinion? Do you think Hitler died of natural causes in Argentina, being the father of 2 children and living out a life with no repercussions for his actions? Up to 10,000 of his fellow Nazis supposedly did the same. And now it's coming out because they're all gone, supposedly. But their children are not gone. So there's all kinds of rumors of Angela Merkel from Germany. I mean, you look at the pictures, y'all. You go down that rabbit hole, you search Angela Merkel, and you look at this guy, and y'all, it's a little scary. The comparisons. Allegedly, what they're trying to say is that possibly his bloodline continued to rule in Germany. So what are your opinions? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comment section. Wherever you're at, follow, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget, tonight is the big night. TGIM, Monday night. Me and that beautiful blonde will be back tonight covering the news of the day. And we're looking forward to that. We love you. We ain't woke. Certainly are awake. See you next time on The Big Picture. God bless.
Would you like to help us build the big picture family? We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. All you have to do is go to our website at LarryRagland.com and make a one-time gift, or you can become a monthly partner. Any amount is a blessing and an encouragement to us. While you're there, make sure you get a copy of our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect with us on our social media links, and join our mailing list. We appreciate it. And remember, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.